Welcome back to another episode of MotoGP Mac, and today we're going to talk about the sprint race that just happened for the Thai Grand Prix in Buriram. Now, before we get into it, here's how it finished. Marc Marquez won it from Alex Marquez, Pecco Bagnaia, Aya Agura, Franco Morbidelli, Pedro Acosta, Fabio Quartararo, Brad Binder, Joan Mir, Johan Zarco, Raul Fernandez, Marco Bezzecchi, Fermin Aldegar, Maverick Vinales, Luca Marini, Miguel Oliveira, Alex Rins, Enie Bastianini, Samkit Chantra, and Lorenzo Savadori was the last one across the line. Jack Miller crashed out while running in sixth, and Fabio Di Gianantonio looked like he had a bike issue towards the end of the race. So what can I say? I am absolutely thrilled that racing is back, although I must admit this sprint race was a little bit dull in the action. But saying that, it was dull because Marc Marquez was absolutely brilliant. He was extremely comfortable at the start of the race, took off, was never bettered into any corner, and had 2 to 3 tenths of a second whenever he needed it. He looked extremely comfortable, pulled a gap of about a second. I think it went to 1.3 at one stage, but never really looked under pressure. Alex Marquez was similar, had a little bit of a battle with Pecco in the first couple of corners, but then pulled a gap within 2 or 3 laps and was quite comfortable. Pecco Bagnaia, he does seem to be struggling on pace, and one of the things I did notice was Mark did set pole, but Pecco's pole time last year was quicker. So what it's kind of showing to me is that Pecco is still struggling to understand the GP25. He's having trouble getting the best out of it. So it is interesting. Also, for all riders, today's weather, I think the sprint race was 4 seconds slower than last year's. One of the standout riders for me for the day definitely has to be Aya Agura, who kept Pecco honest. Let's just call it the way it is. He did keep Pecco honest. Pecco could not come off the gas, because Aya was right up his tailpipe, within a second. So look, any slight mistake, he was going to be all over Pecco. Franco Morbidelli, those of you might know, he has a 3-place grid penalty tomorrow, for the main race for the incident with Pecco. Not a bad session out of him. Top 5. I know Franco was hoping to go a little bit better. Pedro Acosta, had a good battle with Brad Binder and also Fabio Quartararo, getting past Fabio when he ran wide. But good showing from Pedro. Getting rid of all the noise about KTM in the media and all of that. It's just good to get back on track and get going. Good race from Fabio Quartararo, although he did run wide and let Acosta through. Would have been a nice top 6 place. However, I must say, I know Jack crashed, but Jack looked like he had a better race pace than Fabio, so it is interesting to see how Jack will fare on that. Solid race again from Brad Binder. Good battle with himself and Pedro Acosta was actually interesting to watch. Joan Mir and Johan Zarco, I have to give credit to the Hondas in the top 10. There wasn't, realistically, if Jack finished, that would have been, maybe 10 and 11. But look, it's a really, really encouraging sign from the Hondas. It's good to see them, there. Funny comment that came out yesterday was that it's the first time you've seen Joan Mir smile since 2020. Which I think is just a funny comment, that he is happier overall with the Honda. Same with Zarco, seems really relaxed and chilled out. Raul Fernandez, kind of keen to understand what his issue was, what he's going to blame. Realistically, he finished 12 seconds behind his teammate in 13 laps, so it will be interesting there. Marco Bezzecchi spun up on the grid and went backwards for the first couple of quarters, and that kind of did his race. He did come back. I think he was down in 18th place at one stage. Fermin Aldegar, solid one for him, where you'd expect a rookie really to be, and that's why kind of Aya Agura really screams out at me. Maverick Vinales, not really surprised to see Maverick in 14th. You know, he's just not getting on with the bike. And, you know, worrying for Maverick, a 13 lap race, he's 18 seconds behind. Similar for Luca Marini. You know, John Mir and them are a good 5-6 seconds ahead of him on the road. Alex Rins, you know, tough day for Rins. He was thrown out of qualifying practice and that results, or sorry, practice results yesterday, even though it didn't make any difference. But they were running an illegal GPS monitor on the bike, so they were thrown out. Their times yesterday were voided. Enea Bastianini, I think it's going to be an incredibly long season for Enea Bastianini. You know, 13 laps of a race and 23 seconds behind. Samkit Chantra, again, looked solid. He didn't crash. He came home. He brought it back. So it was quite good. And Lorenzo Savadori, well, look, test rider, you know, don't really expect him to be on full race pace. But, you know, 31 seconds behind is a little bit much in 13 laps, if I'm very, very honest. Overall, I thought, look, it was a good race. It's great to have racing back. I thought at the front it was a little bit stale, and there wasn't a lot going on. You know, the gaps came pretty early. Some good battles throughout the field, but saying that, it is absolutely amazing to have MotoGP 2025 underway. It does look like Mark is in pole position again for tomorrow, but then saying that, it kind of looks like it's a similar story. You know, there was many times last year we were looking at Jorge Martin on the opposing Ducati to Pecco, where Pecco had no answer on the Saturday and came back with an answer on Sunday. So let's wait and see. I hope that there is a closer battle at the front tomorrow. For me, has to be rider of the day is Mark. You know, it was amazing, but standout rider of the day for me has to go to Aya Agura. But I would definitely love to know your thoughts. Who are your riders of the day? And what did you think first sprint race of the season? Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below. And I'll be back again tomorrow with another video.